Santa Anita Derby Day on Saturday. It's a big one. So we have the Santa Anita Derby that will go as race number 6. We have the Whittingham that's going to go as race number 5. Couple graded stakes races there. We'll also have some stakes action in the 7th race, which is the Echo Eddie for Calbreds. That kicks off a mandatory pick 6 payout at Santa Anita on Sunday or on Saturday, probably about $3 million or so in that mandatory pick 6 pool. And then following that, you have a couple competitive allowance races. Race number 10 will be the grade 3 Monrovia down the hill on the turf course. Race number 11, it's the Santa Anita Oaks. And then we end with a very competitive 12th race going a mile on the turf. So kick back and enjoy as we dive into the daily racing form past performances for Santa Anita for Saturday. So I'm going to take a look at races 5 through 12. We'll hit both of those graded stakes races before the pick 6, and then we'll go through the mandatory pick 6 sequence here. And remember, daily racing form, drf.com. That's the place to go when you're looking for a little help, when you're looking for additional research, when you want to handicap the races and use these great daily racing form past performances. I'm always using the formulator past performances. And as we take a look at race number 5, I thought the one Opry was a bit interesting in here. I'm hoping they get more aggressive in this race because it looks like it's Opry and then Master of Foxhounds, who I think will be the major speeds in here. I wonder if with the rail draw, Opry can even beat out Master of Foxhounds. This horse got bumped around at the start a little bit last time out and then had to settle a little farther back than they would have liked, was in the 3rd flight, about 3 lengths off, and was inside and then tipped out to the 3 path. I hope they get more aggressive. Dettori has been very aggressive in his time at Santa Anita so far. I like the one Opry aggressive from the inside. Anything over 7-2 feels very fair. We move to the Santa Anita Derby, and I'm expecting some major improvement from the number 3 Go Rocket Ride. This is a good prep race for the Kentucky Derby. I think Go Rocket Ride is a very legitimate horse. Practical Move is honest. He's done so little wrong, and his back-to-back victories have been excellent. Multiple graded stakes winner. National Treasure is going to be making his return. He missed about a month. He is really honest. He's multiple grade 1 placed. Skinner is a late runner who will come closing. He just needs the right type of race shape. Mandarin Hero is a total wild card. This is a good race. The one I don't get it, doesn't feel like he's all that far behind this group. His last out race, he settled about 2 or 3 lengths off. He was in the 4th, about the 4 path. He challenged at the top of the lane, and then he drew off late. He had some trouble in both of his first 2. He's on the upswing. But I do land on the 3 Go Rocket Ride. We can watch his race in the San Felipe last time out. So the top 3 finishers from that race, Practical Move, Go Rocket Ride, and Skinner. They're all back here. And they are the number 3 Practical Move in this race, the number 8 Go Rocket Ride, the number 10 Skinner. So a good start from Go Rocket Ride. He's right on the lead, but they decide to sit second with him and get a really nice trip. Sits just off Hijazi. We'll see Hijazi running this weekend at Keeneland in a stakes race, cutting back. And Go Rocket Ride ends up sitting in the 2 path about a length off. And this is a good trip for him. But keep in mind, this is only his 2nd start, and he's stretching out from 6 furlongs to a mile and a 16th. That's a lot to ask in career start number 2 against a bunch of other seasoned horses who have a lot more foundation going a little longer. The 3 is Practical Move, just sitting a beautiful trip down on the rail and just waiting for some opening, just waiting for some room. And then Skinner's at the back of the pack. That's the number 10. He's just loping along back there, waiting to press the button. So we'll see that it looks like Go Rocket Ride, when he tries to loom up, he's kind of all in. And it seems like he might tire and back up at about this point. Like he just doesn't seem to be traveling quite as well when they hit the top of the lane as a few others in here. Even looks like Fort Bragg to the outside is going to go by this horse. Looks like Hijazi has more left. And the 3, Practical Move, just waiting for a room, gets that opening down on the inside and moves through pretty nicely. But what I like in here, watch the blue cap of Go Rocket Ride. He shifts down to the rail, and he really keeps coming here. Like Hijazi sort of stops, and as Skinner's making his big move, he flattens out a little. It's the 8, Go Rocket Ride, who comes back on and runs second. And this is just in his second start. Like he's really figuring things out. I think it's a good spot for him. He needs the points to get into the Derby. A horse like Practical Move, who's awesome, he doesn't need the points right now. Remember, he's in the Derby. If he runs a really good second or third, that's fine for him. He's not necessarily going to be all out to try to win this race. Then National Treasure, I hope he runs well enough here to get into the Derby because I would play him in the Derby. I think he just needs a race, but he's really honest and he's a little under the radar. I feel like he should be able to run all day. In this particular race, I like Go Rocket Ride in here. And if you're looking for a value horse, maybe to throw in underneath the one, I think will run well and maybe not get disgraced by this group. Race number 7 kicks off the pick 6, the Rainbow Pick 6. It's a mandatory payout. 6-horse Austonian is scratched. The number 2, Kangaroo Court, is really, really nice. And I believe if he runs well or wins this race, we will see him in a stakes race against Open Company, maybe something like the Pathé Mile on the Derby undercard weekend. So Kangaroo Court is the 4 in the race we're watching. Buzz Buzz is the 3. They're rivals again in this race. And for Kangaroo Court, he had not raced since August of last year. So this is a long layoff. This race we're watching is on March the 4th. And Buzz Buzz gets the lead, gets about a 2-length advantage on Kangaroo Court, who then has to exert some energy just to get back into contention. And Kangaroo Court's able to engage nicely. I just feel like with these two horses, Kangaroo Court has a little more bottom and a little bit more upside. Second start back off the long layoff. Now, in the Saturday race, in race 7 on Saturday, the post positions will be flipped a little bit. Buzz Buzz will be outside of Kangaroo Court. Will that matter? Does Kangaroo Court try to let Buzz Buzz go and then angle to the outside and sit off? Here's a look at Kangaroo Court asking for some run. And it's not as if Buzz Buzz just backs up and stops, but I feel like there will be even more out of this from Kangaroo Court if you're looking at the two of them as short prices. Now, so I prefer the Kangaroo Court. The horse who I'm intrigued by is the 4 Clovis Connection. He has enough speed to stay in contention. He's been a mile, and now he'll go second start off the bench. He'll make a second start at 3. So he's a player in here for me as well. Moving to the 8th race at Santa Anita on the DRF past performances, these formulator PPs. The top tier of horses for me in this one are going to be the 3 and the 8. The 3 Silver Surfer missed a lot of racing time. He showed up here as a 2-year-old in the U.S. in September of 2021. He ran a really nice third in a stakes race behind McKinnon. Then he came back and ran second behind McKinnon again in a stakes race. Following that, he's had 16 months off. He shows back up, facing older horses. So we haven't seen him since he was 2, and now he's 4. And it was a really good effort. His speed figures improved. He's had plenty of time to recover from that race because it was on February the 11th. And I thought that was cool too. Like if you look at what he's done, he's run on all sorts of different styles of turf courses. He's run on heavy, yielding, soft, good, and firm turf courses. He's had 7 turf races, and 5 of them have been on like different styles of turf courses, which just shows that he's got some ability, and he's really not fired bad efforts in many of his races. I think he's going to run a big one in here. The number 3, Silver Surfer. The number 8, also on the radar for me, Coaling Road. So if you just isolate his turf form, January 7th, he wins on the turf in a Calbred Stakes race. The other races around are not bad, but they're dirt races. Behind the Chosen Vron twice, second in the stakes race up at Fresno. Prior to that, when he's on the grass, look who he's facing. Prince Obama. Prince Obama is a multiple graded stakes winner. Like he just won the San Marcos. He's also won the Hollywood Turf Cup. This is a legitimate horse. You dive back into the past performances for Coalinga Road. You see Air Force Red and Notorious. Well, they're both graded stakes winners. Air Force Red is a graded stakes winner. He won the Hernandez a few starts back, and he's been honest. He was against Grade 1 Company last time out. Motorius came back recently and won the Grade 3 San Simeon with a massive speed figure. Look at how good some of those races are, and they're not graded stakes races, but he's facing graded stakes winners in there. There's really nice form for Coalinga Road. Now, so 8-3, my top tier. Following them, the horses who I'm a bit interested in would be this sort of group of the 5, 6, and 7. Reckless Spirit's going to take some money. The Tories aboard. Reckless Spirit, second off the short break, second time the mono. The 6, 7 Wonder showed a lot more speed last time out. He had some trouble trips leading into that. Second off the short little break. I'd love to see him sit a little more, but just closer, some positional speed. Lost in Space is maybe a fun long shot. He was off for quite a while, and this is sort of the second start off the 21-month break. He was off for a while, and then he's had 2 months off, but he came back and started working pretty quickly, like 2 weeks after. It wasn't like he's been off and then off again. I think they were just picking out a spot for him. He had to take up and move outside. He was showing some pretty good late energy in his last start, Lost in Space. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to go in this one. It's a pretty fun race. I mean, towards the outside, both the 10 and the 11, I wouldn't talk you off of if you wanted to include them at big prices. General Mathis, he got bumped around at the start. He was back to 8th. He was about 8 lengths off. He made an early move outside. He was in the 3 or 4 path. Then he was 5 deep at the top of the lane. Augustino had trouble in 4 straight races. I loved him on March 9th. I played him. He was getting a great trip, and he just didn't fire at all. It was so bad, though, you almost want to give him a shot back. And Pratt takes the call, and he's going to offer you some value in here. Really contentious race in race number 8. Let's move to the 9th race. We'll go to a starter allowance, 25,000, 6.5 on the dirt. A couple horses for me. The number 4, Teton Valley, is going to be the best bet of the day for me, and maybe a horse I even single. I think Teton Valley is a horse who's better on the dirt, but he came off a long layoff last time out, a 13-month layoff, and he raced on the turf. And he had legitimate trouble in that race on the turf. And even after getting stopped, he kept coming. Now, let's go back to some of his dirt form before the layoff. February the 6th, he's behind Principe Carlo. It's just a 25 starter allowance, though, right? So it's not that tough of a group. This horse goes after that race and finishes back-to-back seconds in grade 2s. How about some of the other horses that Teton Valley has been facing? We see Essential Wager and American Theorem. Essential Wager is 3 for 4 and a grade 3 winner. His only defeat came when he finished second in his career debut, and he's earned big speed figures in his last few. American Theorem, this is a grade 1 winner, multiple graded stakes winner. He became like the top sprinter in Southern California last year in the summer. So I really think it's a great spot for Teton Valley. Second start off the long layoff. He's a major pace factor, but he can sit too. We've seen him sit off the pace and pass horses, and we know he can get the distance. He has a win at 6.5 furlongs. He has a bang-up race where he was only beaten in nose at 6.5 furlongs. I think it's a really good spot for him. I will play him, and I will single him on one ticket. I'll play him to win if we're 5-1 over. Other horses that I will use on a different ticket along with him, the number 7, that is Lovesick Blues. His grass races recently are not bad at all. There's a little bit of sneaky trouble in there. His most recent race, he ran into a horse named Lamplighter Jack, who was in good form at Gulfstream Park and came over here, just loves to win races. Before that one, you'll even see other tough company that Lovesick Blues has kept on the dirt. So if you go back to the dirt race, the last time he was on the dirt, he's behind Straight No Chaser and Traeger. Straight No Chaser just won a race at Oaklawn with a 101 buyer speed figure. And Traeger has won back-to-back really nice allowance races. He's like a legitimate stakes horse. So the 7 I would use if you're spreading around. The 3, Manitowish, he's just really honest. Like, he always fires a good one. He fits really well with this group. The 9 would be the other, Clem Labine. No real knocks, and he's dropping out of a graded stakes race last time out. So the second level allowance races he was in before, there's the horse Traeger that we were talking about, where Clem Labine was in that race. So that would be how I see race number 9. One of the best bets on the day for me, the number 4, and then others 7, 3, and 9 if you're looking to include. Let's move to the 10th race. This is the grade 3 Monrovia, 6.5 furlongs on the downhill turf course. And I like the 3, Canoodling. Really fun betting race. Canoodling has not raced since May, but has been going a little longer and showing route speed. I think it's a perfect spot in which for this mare to come back off the bench. Running down the hill makes it a little bit easier when you return. And I think Canoodling can sit a really good trip in here. She was in a grade 1 last time out, was only beaten a couple lengths in the grade 1 Gamely. She's a grade 3 winner, 2 starts back. Multiple graded stakes winner in her last 4 races. This is a really honest horse who's been very good on the turf and should get a great trip in here. Canoodling should be the final race for Legs Galore, who we'll see in just a moment. But I thought the 4, Tom's Beauty, stepping up. This horse is pretty good. The 2 start back race on February 4th, shot through from the inside and flashed some speed. Last time out was really, really honest, just kind of sitting behind horses and has some speed. No knocks. The 6 Christian Bosch is a bit intriguing to me too, facing graded stakes company on the dirt recently. But look at the last couple turf races behind Quattrell. And what's Quattrell been doing lately? Oh, Quattrell has won back-to-back graded stakes races right now. And prior to that, you see Rhea Moon. And what has Rhea Moon been doing? Oh, yeah. Rhea Moon is a multiple graded stakes winner recently also. Has won 3 in a row and just won the grade 1 American Oaks. So again, you're looking at a horse who's been facing graded stakes company in like legitimate horses who have been in good form. And a lot of them aren't even in graded stakes races. Like the Quattrell race and the Rhea Moon race, that's in allowance races. These races are way stronger than they just look on paper. But of course, I mean, even from like a starting point, you have to start with like Amy C and Legs Galore because Amy C is perfect down the hill. And Amy C has won 3 of her last 4, and all those 3 wins were down the hill. So, like, what a really, really difficult race and challenging race. I'm a little cold on Legs Galore. This is her final start. She's been good down the hill, but I think she's maybe lost a little bit of a step. It's race number 10 on the 12 race card at Santa Anita. The 11th race is the grade 2 Santa Anita Oaks. And I very much like to play against Fiza, who I've played against all 4 times. She's beat me all 4 times, and she just sort of wins in a workmanlike way. So we always try to beat her again. But she held off And Tell Me No Lies, and that was the first start for And Tell Me No Lies since November. And that was her first start at 3. I think she can take a step forward. That was also the career best speed figure for And Tell Me No Lies. Is there another small step forward? Can she turn the tables on Fiza? I think so. The horse who I like the most, though, in here is the number 6 Window Shopping. Now, this one has a nice pedigree. Her dam was a graded stakes winner and won 3 of the 6 starts. She is beautifully bred, being a daughter of American Pharaoh. They paid a ton for her, so they obviously think very highly of her. And her debut race was on the turf. It was going a mile. She had a brutal trip. She got bumped on both sides. She got crossed over on. She was last of 10. Then she moved inside and she ran into traffic. And the horse who won that race won impressively. She should have been second. The difference between 6th and second was not much, honestly. Without a little bit of like hesitation there, she could have been right there. Then she comes back on March the 17th. She crushes in a race off the turf. But just watching her, she has foundation with 2 races at a mile. I really think she's got some ability. window shopping. The 7 Princess Bettina, she's only been on the dirt twice. They were both her first 2 starts of her career. Since then, she's stretched out and she's just been way better. Was it the turf or was it the stretch out in distance? I'd be willing to give her one more shot on the dirt and see if maybe it was, that she improved going a little longer. Spoke about it on Tell Me No Lies. I mean, the 3 was extremely impressive winning her debut. Clearly unhinged. She pushed through the rail. Seen her come back on March 12th and work. It was really nice. Good gallop out. I'm going to play against the 5, FISA. I'm going to use the 6 and like the next tier of horses. I'll go 6, 8, 3, 7 in chuck out FISA. The 1 Vengaza is nice. She's got ability. Just a lot to ask, stretching out from 6 all the way. But she should be on the front end. Her dam was a filly I liked, Avenge, who was 3rd in the Breeders' Cup filly in Mirror Turf. She ran some good races out here, winning the Maybe in the Rodeo Drive back-to-back and was nice. She was bettable. You could play her. She won 3 in a row at 9-1, 8-1, and 5-1. So there's a look at Avenge, the dam of Vengaza. That's the Santa Anita Oaks, race number 11 on Saturday. For me, 6, 8, 7, 3. And I'm going to check out the 5. Let's close things out. Race number 12. And in this one, some first level allowance race going a mile on the turf for fillies and mares 3-year-olds and up. The number 1 Corporal Violet comes in for Paddy Gallagher, raced in Ireland, and now will be in the Paddy Gallagher barn for the first time. Dettori jumps aboard. I thought her race on September 19th was pretty good. She was inside. She was 5th, about 2 or 3 lengths off. She was looking for some room. She had to wait, but she shifted out to the 3 path in between horses, and she just missed second that day. She's on the ticket for me. The 4 Ultimate High, second start off a year-long layoff, stretches out. She had to take up early inside. She actually closed pretty well after an inside trip where she shifted out and was closing well. I wouldn't really talk you off her. The 5 is a horse who I wasn't quite as high on. The 8 is definitely in the mix for me. 1, 12, and 8 are my top tier. Scarabia has never won on the turf, 0 for 14, but 0 for the last 10 just overall. Her win came on the synthetic. But since then, she's been in 6 graded stakes races, 2 other stakes races, and then 2 allowance races. And the only time she was in a race at this level on the turf, she was a good 3rd. This is where she fits. She's going to be in the mix for me as well. And then the 10, Shocking Gray, was really good last time out. She had a slow start. She was last of 8. She was about 6 lengths off. She tried to move into traffic. She had to wait. She had to duck to the rail, then angled out around and split horses. It was really impressive. That was Shocking Gray, the number 10. So for me, I have 8, 10, and 1 as my top 3 that I'll be using all over the place. The 11 and 12 are both interesting. Ancient Peace will likely be on all my tickets as well. This might be just a really, really nice filly. And she comes into the John Sadler barn for the first time. Chloe's Crown, no real knocks on her effort last time out, but she, both of these are going to have tough posts to deal with, but both of them fit in a very contentious group. I'll be chucking out the 3, spreading out a little bit with 1, 8, and 10 as my top tier. 11 and 12 would be the next grouping of horses to use. Good luck on a big Saturday. It's the Santa Anita Derby Day. Don't forget, you can also play in the Santa Anita Pick'em contest. The website, pick'em.santanita.com. It's a free game that combines horse races, gambling props from baseball, from football, from basketball, from all sports. So for this weekend, there will be NBA, MLB, and Santa Anita Saturday questions for the prop contest. It's totally free to enter, and you get $500 if you're the winner of that thing. That's every Saturday and every Sunday. Good luck this weekend at Santa Anita.